Yeah.
You want to like them, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. You straight gangsters over here.
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah. Welcome back. It is Thursday morning, and you are listening to The Scout Team with Scout Team Sports. It is a beautiful Thursday morning. I am one of your hosts.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
They call me Loudbeard, and sitting on the microphone on the other side is the great patriot himself.
Yeah, it's your boy Chris America coming to you live every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning. Trying to talk about all the latest news, action, and everything that's good about sports, and sometimes everything that's bad about sports. Loudbeard, it's Thursday. We are here.
We made it. We're almost to the end. Every week, it's like this perpetual cycle of, I hate Monday. Tuesday's a little bit better. Wednesday, I'm halfway done. Thursday, it's Friday Eve. Friday, it's almost the weekend. And we're almost to that end of the week. It's like it's almost maddening, the cycle of the weekends. But I love Fridays. I love Thursdays. And guess what? Football is back. I had to take 2 days off of watching football, and it was the most excruciating 2 days of my life. But today, Thursday night, we've got college football and we've got pro football, so I can go back to being normal.
I like it.
Ready?
Yeah, I love Thursday football. I love Friday football. I love football. I love Lamp.
I love Lamp. Yes. So if anybody didn't get a chance last night, chance to listen last night, we were on our Scout Team After Dark show every Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9 o'clock. It's a little bit of a change of pace from what we normally do in the morning, so we encourage everybody to go out, listen to us every Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9 o'clock on 12ouncesportsradio.com. And if you didn't catch it, you can always go and hit up the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or on our website, scoutteamradio.com. So, Chris America, what do we have in store for this beautiful show? I haven't talked to you in so long. I feel like it's been like 8 hours. So tell me, what do we have to go over today?
Well, I mean, we talked about how we're going to talk about Thursday Night Football. I'm still excited to talk about John Bones Jones. I was listening to your show with the Hefe talking about how that news dropped. I think you mentioned that we're looking at December for the great comeback of John Bones Jones, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and, baseball's heating up, so I just want to keep a little tracker out there. Last night, there was a full slate of games on the National League side of these teams that are vying for the wild card spot. So we'll give a little update to our listeners about that. And, who knows where this wild ride will take us. We may even go back to the future.
Back in time.
So Thursdays, we like to do our little time machine, jump in the DeLorean segment. So we might be giving you a special treat right after the commercial break today. But I'm just going to dive right into it. We talked about football. Man, I love football. So tonight, we've got NFL. We'll start with NFL, Vikings versus Rams. When I looked at this matchup 2 weeks ago, I said, this is going to be one of the best Thursday night games ever. Now, the problem is last week, the Jets and the Browns became the best Thursday night game ever. So I feel like this could be a little bit of a disappointment. I have a feeling somebody's not going to show up, and this will be kind of an odd game. And I'm really worried about the Vikings after last week, that beating they took at the hands of the mighty Buffalo Bills. So what are we to expect from these two teams? Rams are 3-0. Vikings are 1-1-1. Is this going to be a great matchup, Chris America?
I think it is, man. I think these could be two NFC Championship type teams. I know the Vikings didn't look like it last week. They looked like a hot bag of garbage against the Bills, but I want to say that that's a one-off game. That's one of those games where we look back and we say, what was going on with the Vikings that day? in college football, you're not allowed to have a bad day. You're not allowed to have a bad quarter, or else we're going to say, oh, you played this team close, and you're not allowed in the championship. Luckily, the NFL doesn't work that way. We have these types of games all the time. The Patriots always give you a blowout loss to the Dolphins when the Dolphins are like 5-10 at the time that they lose to them. So it's not anything new to the NFL. I think the Vikings bounce back, but I don't know if they could overcome an across-country trip playing Todd Gurley at home. I think the LA fans are going to show up and be loud and raucous in that USC stadium.
You mean all 12 of them?
Yeah. No, I think Rams fans, LA fans are like Miami fans. If there's something to root for and you have a good team, I think they show out, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at the numbers. Typically, Los Angeles fans have been kind of disappointing with their football. But you're right. What the Rams are putting on the field is it's an exciting brand of football that fans have to want to go see it. I mean, Todd Gurley, Jared Goff, you've got this mighty defense with Aaron Donald and Sue. He's over there. They did lose Aqib Talib for about 8 weeks, so that's a big loss in their secondary, but they still have Marcus Peters, who was banged up last week, but I think he's good to go. So really going to be a great matchup. I have expectations that the Vikings will come back strong, and the reason I think that is Mike Zimmer he's like one of these really like gritty old school football guys, and I bet he's making these guys just he's going to humiliate them in the film room and let them know that this is unacceptable. And I think he's going to light a fire under them, and they're going to come out and want to prove that they're not the team that got destroyed by the Buffalo Bills. They're the Vikings team that everybody thinks they are. And Kirk Cousins has something to prove. When you have a hellacious outing like that and you're getting paid guaranteed money and you're supposed to be the face of this franchise and this is your opportunity, you need to bounce back and show the world and the Minnesota fans that you're the real deal and that you're going to go out there and show and you're going to put it on the field and you're going to play the best game that you can play and make this a big game, because this is a primetime game. It's a Thursday night game. There's no other games on. All the casual football fans that want football tonight are going to be watching this game unless they're a college football fan. But, other than that, it's going to be a well-watched game, and they got to show up.
Yeah, and I got to say, this slate of Thursday night games they've improved it. Maybe it's because Fox gave them way more money than NBC and CBS was giving the NFL, but they've stepped up their Thursday night game. No longer are we lamenting the matchups or anything like that. Sadly, I think Monday Night Football has become the new Thursday Night Football. What do you think?
Yeah, the Monday night matchups haven't been great, and the Thursday matchups have been awesome. And, when you looked at it preseason and you said, Jets-Browns, but there was some excitement there. You had two rookie quarterbacks out there to prove themselves, so I thought that was a great matchup. And here you got Vikings-Rams. When the schedule was made, we definitely all thought that both of these teams were going to be competitive teams. So there's a definite hit and a big the NFL did a great job and picked the right teams to go up against each other for this game. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. And some of the Monday night matchups have been a little ho-hum. Now, I did like watching the Bucks. Now, going into the season, I would have been like, Bucks on Monday night? What is the league thinking? But as soon as Fitzmagic donned his Conor McGregor gear, I knew then that the Bucks are an electric team that are must-watch TV, and they made it a must-watch game. So other than that Monday night game, the other Monday night games have been, they've been, you know what I mean? Just not so
man.
great. So another Thursday night game that's going on tonight, UNC is going up against Miami, and we're talking college football now. So this is a game that I kind of want to catch back and forth. I'm probably going to flip around during the commercial break and during halftime and just see what this Miami-UNC game's all about. I think I'm definitely going to have to give Miami the advantage. They're the ranked team. They're better all around. But I want to see Miami really take it to UNC because afterwards, I just like going on Twitter and just posting a bunch of stuff and tagging Anthony Mack and saying, Miami is back. That's all I want to do.
Do it. Miami is back. Especially, they're going to blow out UNC. UNC's team is garbage. The ACC is garbage this year. We've talked about that a little bit last night. It's just a down league. The American Athletic Conference this year is far deeper than the ACC, and that's not me being a homer or a UCF, fanboy. But I mean, think about it. If I gave you UCF, USF, Memphis, and Houston, and put them up against who would you say would be ACC's top 4? Clemson.
Well, definitely Clemson.
Virginia
sure.
Tech, Miami.
Yep.
I mean, then who's the fourth? Who's the fourth team out there that you would say, yeah, definitely those 4, if they did a round robin,
Syracuse.
come out. Syracuse. There you go. Do you really believe if we did a round robin tournament that, at least 3 out of the 4 AAC teams wouldn't come out with a much better record than the 4 ACC teams?
Yeah, no, I think they would. And there's going to be the Power 5 lovers out there that would argue with you till the death. There's no way that they could ever admit that a non-Power 5 conference is better than a Power 5 conference. And we talk about the ACC being down. Out west, the PAC conference, man, I think they're always down, but they get built up, and they always have these disappointing games where, Oregon's playing against Stanford, and neither team really wants to win, and they're giving away just turnovers left and right. And I think that there's a lot of deficiencies in the Power 5, but by name, the lovers out there are going to just keep fighting and arguing and arguing and arguing. But what's going on in the American Conference cannot be ignored. You've got really great teams out there. UCF undefeated, USF undefeated, Cincinnati undefeated. Oh, who are they playing? Well, they're going to all be playing each other. So somebody's got to win, right? And when they beat each other and they end up being ranked and they're playing ranked teams, and other teams like Clemson is going through a schedule where the only ranked team they're going to play this year could be Texas A&M. I mean, it's
could be.
no different.
And that's like a maybe. That's a strong maybe. Texas A&M will be undefeated. We'll see, or not undefeated, but a ranked team. We'll see how Texas A&M looks when they play Mississippi State, play LSU. They've already played Alabama, but play Auburn. They have a long track ahead of them. They've already got 2 losses. It's hard to be ranked in the top 25 if you have 4, 5, 6 losses. I mean, I know that the committee and the AP and the coaches poll, they love to put in SEC teams no matter how many losses they have in the top 25. And then SEC fans like to, tout it out like, oh, look at we got 20 teams in the top 25 and we only have 14 in our whole entire conference. Look how great we are.
Yeah, and usually they're 3 and 4 lost teams, and they're but they're playing each other. They're in the SEC. That's
right.
That's why they have 4 losses.
It's confirmation bias. Hey, I'm gonna rank Mississippi State, top 15. I'm gonna rank Kentucky top 15. I mean, look, I ranked them top 15, and they played each other, and then they won 1 and 1 lost. So what am I supposed to do? I rank them top 15, so they're definitely top 15 no matter what.
Man, it's so true.
And I also hate the they were ranked when they played them. Oh, so you mean week 2 when you had no idea what you were doing when you were making your rankings? We're supposed to hold on to that the rest of the season, even though that top 10 team you put in there, like Florida State, won 5 games. That's what we're doing now. Well, hey, Alabama beat Florida State when they were ranked, so they beat a ranked team.
Yeah, you know what? I believe all of this. All of it is true. You're preaching to the choir. I can't say anything else about it. I think our listeners are probably like, man, these guys can't get off this bandwagon. You're right. We can't get off this bandwagon because it's an injustice, and we have to keep bringing it up and keep bringing it to light. And that's what our goal is to the sporting community. Now, another college football.
The Boston Massacre was in 1770. We didn't win our independence until 1782. So we'll go about this for 12 years if we have to.
Okay, that was random. I'm with you though. Let's do this. Let's
Chris
fight
America,
for independence.
man. I'm all about America.
You are. You're the most American America I know and love. So last night we talked pretty in depth about Kelly Bryant and how he's looking to transfer out of Clemson. We've got this whole free agency thing. I didn't think about this until after our show last night, but another free agent that's going to be looking for a new team this year is going to be Jalen Hurts. He's going to want to get out there and get himself an opportunity somewhere. And so now you're looking at Kelly Bryant and Jalen Hurts basically on the open market trying to get on a team. So some of these college football teams are going to have pretty good opportunity to upgrade their quarterback position. Now, I don't know what to expect out of Jalen Hurts because he was living with that Alabama team that is like 5-star recruits at every position, and he got beat out by Tua, but I still think he's a good quarterback, and he could help a team, so he could go in. So last night we were talking pretty deep about what teams could use Kelly Bryant. Some of those teams, if they miss out on Kelly Bryant, man, Jalen Hurts is right there too.
Yeah, and I got to ask, do you like these new transfer rules? Some of the new rules that was passed this year was that you can play 4 games. You can play in 4 games and still redshirt as long as you don't play in that 5th game. And then there's the graduate transfer rule. Both Jalen Hurts and Kelly Bryant will be a part of this transfer rule where if you graduate the school that you're currently at, you're allowed to transfer to another college as long as you take a class or a major in your master's degree or your postgraduate that they don't have at your other school. So, like, let's say Jalen transfers to UCF and he's going to the medical school that maybe Alabama doesn't have, then he can do that. Do you like that rule, or are you against it? I know a lot of the old hats are completely against this. They think, free agency is bad for college football. What do you think, Loudbeard?
No, I like it. I do think it's just designed to be a loophole. I don't think it's actually designed to do what it's supposed to do. So, especially on the graduate transfer side, if you're wanting to play football at another school and you pick that school to play football at, you say, how can I go play football there? Let me just go take a class in some degree that I don't really care about just because my old school doesn't have it. So I think it's more designed to be a loophole, and I hate rules that are made to be broken and made to be worked around. I feel like just come up with the rule, once you're a graduate transfer, you can go play for another school. You graduated. You can go play for another school and play for that team. Why do we have to make it where it's complicated? We're making it unnecessarily complicated. And I like the fact that you can do it and the rule allows for it to happen. I just think the rule's dumb in the fact that it's not really doing it what it's intended to do. Now, with that being said, free agency for college football, I mean, it's not total free agency. There's still a lot of limitations, but you're going to see some of these big names move over. I mean, think about it. There's been a lot of players that have done this in the past and had to wait that year of eligibility or had to kind of work the system in different ways. I mean, I think of Russell Wilson. He was, a starter at NC State and then moved over to Wisconsin. Do I have that backwards? Maybe I do. But he ends up doing that and then going pro and being a huge player. There are opportunities out there for these college football guys. So, man, I like it, and I think it's necessary.
Yeah, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure Troy Aikman left, I want to say Oklahoma to go to UCLA or UCLA to Oklahoma. One of those two. I know that he was one of those types of transfers. I like the rule, and I don't want to bring up your own personal stuff with that, but I know that you kind of have your own thoughts personally about transferring rules in college and everything else like that. And if you want to tell that story, that's up to you. But I'm always on the side of the student athlete. That's what college football is supposed to be about, is what's best for the student athlete, not what's best for Dabo Swinney, not what's best for the fan base, not what's best for Clemson University, but what's best for the student athlete. And the reason why I say we need to do that is because Clemson will be fine without Kelly Bryant. Clemson will go on. They'll continue to make millions of dollars without him. Dabo Swinney, same difference. Like, they will be fine. The fan bases, you'll be good. I promise, Larry over there in Clemson, South Carolina. You'll be all right if Kelly Bryant isn't on your team. Your life will go on. Nothing about your life has changed. But for Kelly Bryant, he had a starting position. He has dreams and aspirations of playing in the NFL. And you only have 4 years to basically put together a body of work that the NFL can look at and say, yes, I want you, or no, I don't want you. You're not going to be able to do that sitting on the bench. It's very rare that a guy sitting on the bench, backup quarterback, gets drafted and gets a chance to play. We barely ever see that. And so if I'm Kelly Bryant or if he's my son, I'm telling him, you need to go. Like, I get the whole stay true to your team and blah, 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 but your team is going to move on without you. So you need to move on without the team. And do what's best for you. Do what's best for your life. You only get YOLO. You only get one life to live. So go out
YOLO.
and make the best of your opportunity.
Yeah, man, I'm totally with you. I agree with all that. That I think we've got to just be open to college. College sports needs to be a little bit more open, I guess, to embracing some of this change that needs to happen. But they're making steps in the right direction. I can't wait to see where Kelly Bryant goes, because that'll be an exciting whatever team he goes to. I'm going to want to watch to see how well he does. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. I'm going to want to see what these guys do, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun for college football. Now, I do want to switch gears a little bit, talk a little baseball, Chris America. I like me some baseball. And last night, we had some great matchups. We had Brewers going up against Cardinals. Both teams are vying for wild card playoff spots. They're trying for their for the NL Central and NL. Like they're just in it. So we needed to sit here and look at this game. Brewers went 2-1. Last night, you mentioned the Brewers are going to be your darling team if they end up making it into the playoffs. And
yeah, as soon as I said that, what did they do?
They do. They clinch it, man.
Yeah, man.
Cubs and Brewers both clinch the NL Central. So, I mean, both clinch playoff spots. Now, they're both vying for the NL Central pennant. They're wanting to win their division. And you know what? I love to see this battle. Brewers go in and they get a win against the Cardinals, so they're for real. They're wanting to win it. Now, the Cubs are going up against the Pirates. They get a 7-6 win last night, so now we don't gain any ground here. The Cubs and Brewers both win. Rockies go out. They're fighting against the Dodgers, and you know what? Rockies go and win 14-0 against the Phillies. So they're showing, hey, we're here for real. We're putting it out here. And the Dodgers go out and they lay an egg and lose to the Diamondbacks. So I don't think the Dodgers are really putting their best forth here. And, the Rockies and Dodgers are right there in the NL West. And the Cardinals are still sitting back, and they could sneak in and get a wild card spot. So this whole dynamic is getting pretty heated, and we're running out of games. We're running out of games for these teams to really make a stand. And I like what the Rockies are doing, and I like what the Brewers are doing. And I think the Dodgers might get left out. Maybe the Cardinals, but if the Dodgers get left out, that would be big, because a lot of big names over there put a lot of money into that team, a lot of talent, and if they don't make the playoffs, I think this would be considered a total failure for that team.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I'm really actually ready for the playoffs to start already. I'm ready for the postseason to roll out. It's always fun to see postseason baseball. We talked about how Tuesday night and even last night there was nothing going on other than just, Wednesday night you tune in to Scout Team After Dark.
Obviously.
But Tuesday nights, it's boring. There's nothing going on Tuesday nights. So I'd love to be able to turn on some postseason baseball, some October baseball on a Tuesday night, see some of these top matchups, the top pitchers in the game, the top hitters in the game. It's exciting, man.
It is exciting. Now, Jacob deGrom, it looks like he has his last start for the season, and the guy gets his ERA down to 1.7. So he has the entire season at a 1.7 ERA. They get the 3-0 win. The unfortunate part is his team, the New York Mets, they have been absolute garbage this year, and they haven't supported him. So his record's only 10-9. We have all these other guys. We have Max Scherzer with 300 Ks, who's sitting at like 20 wins. You've got all these guys, they're at like 18, 19, 20 wins. DeGrom, with the best ERA in all of the bigs, sits there at a 10-9 record because he is on such an awful team. But with an ERA like that, man, this is a good Cy Young battle. You've got Scherzer, who gets 300 strikeouts, which is a great feat in itself, and then DeGrom with the 1.7 ERA. I mean, if I was picking, I think I'd still have to go DeGrom, even though Scherzer's one of my national guys. But I love the great pitching that happens each year. There seems like there's a couple guys that show up each year that come out and just have these magnificent seasons. Verlander's done it a few years. Clayton Kershaw's had a couple great years. This year, Chris Sale has had a great year. DeGrom. I love seeing great pitching. I think baseball revolves around great pitching. And it's disappointing that some of these guys that are these great pitchers that have done it all year long haven't had are not going to have the opportunity to show it off in the playoffs. And being on the Mets, being on the Nationals, those guys aren't going to get a chance. Now, Chris Sale over in Boston, he's had an amazing year. He's going to be out there showing his stuff off. But the really big, the number one guy this year, DeGrom, on a bad team, man, that sucks. That hurts. So, anyway, I feel like I baseballed it out. You have any other baseball tidbits or nuggets you want to throw out there to our fans?
Just real fast, which baseball player holds all the water?
I don't know. Which one?
The pitcher.
Oh, wow. I like that. I needed that. So we've got a few minutes before we hit our commercial break, so let's dive a little bit into this John Jones fight that's being hyped up here, man. I know you're... It still never gets old.
Sorry, the last time it was too low, so I had to turn it up.
Yeah, it was a little low. I was like, oh, man, that would have been perfect if it was the right volume. But so you throw it out the second time, it's still a great drop, no matter what, man. I love the drop. That's awesome.
The Kawi laugh. I'll have to send that to you after the show, man.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so John Jones. John Bones Jones. This is your favorite UFC fighter, so let me just give the floor to you, sir. Go ahead.
Well, you said
excited?
I haven't. You sent me a message this morning saying that he's got a potential fight in December. I went home and went straight to bed. Didn't really see any of that news. So why don't you set the floor for me so I can run with it? Give me the baton, man.
All right. So the baton is that UFC is working on this fight. So they're lining it up. They're looking at John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson at UFC 232, which would be late December. We're looking at about December 29th for this to happen. It'll be in Las Vegas, and they want to get him in 2018. Their goal for UFC, I'm sure they have financial budgets and goals to meet, and if they can get John Jones on a card in December, it's going to make their year a stellar year for the UFC. And for fans want to see John Jones. Whether they love him or hate him, he could be the heel or he could be the baby face, whatever he's got to be. Probably the heel because of all of his problems. But fans want to see what this guy has to bring. Now, he has this big black cloud over him for, some of this PED and whatever, negative tests that he has negative tests that he's had in the past or positive results. But man, I can't even say it right. This is too early for this, man. You know what I'm saying? He had a bad drug test. Like that's what I meant. Yeah.
He's perfect for UFC. They need him back. They desperately need him back. I'm wondering if that's one of the reasons why they took the plea deal. Apparently, part of the deal for him to come back was to start snitching out people. They say snitches get stitches, so we'll see if that's true. He's going to be exposing a lot of people in UFC and MMA for PED use, so we'll see how that comes out. But they need this guy back. UFC can't just be continuously relying on Conor McGregor and who else? Who else is UFC relying on right now? DC versus Brock Lesnar. I mean, how many times do they have to bring Brock Lesnar back in a WWE style type event? How long can they milk that cow and draw from that well? Those guys can only fight 1 or 2 times a year. With Conor McGregor, he hasn't fought in 2 years. Brock Lesnar, the last time he fought, he tested positive for steroids as well, and he had to go back to WWE. So they need John Jones back. I think that he needs at least 3 fights before getting a championship chance. I think he needs to earn his way back. I think he needs to prove to UFC and MMA and all the other organizations that rule over MMA, all the different commissions and everything. I think he needs to prove to them that he can fight clean without testing positive for steroids or cocaine or without, crashing into pregnant women and then running away. He needs to prove himself for that. And I'm willing to give him that chance. Every American loves a good redemption story, loves to see the athlete fall and then work his way back up. We saw that with Tiger Woods this past week. Tiger Woods is a different guy than who he was 10 years ago or 8 years ago, whenever it was that he was crashing his car here in Central Florida. And we love him for it. We love the new Tiger. We love the fact that he's come back. And I think John Jones has the potential to be that far more than what Tiger does because Jones isn't injured. Jones doesn't have back problems. Jones is still one of the top fighters, if not the top fighter in MMA We haven't seen him in a long time, so he might be a little rusty. But the last time we saw him, he knocked out a guy that everybody right now is clamoring about and saying he's the greatest fighter of all time in DC.
Yeah, John Jones will make UFC great again. Now, Conor McGregor coming back is huge. This fight, I mean, we're going to want to see this DC rematch that's going to build up to it. But he's got to get through Gustafsson first. Now, they fought a pretty good battle their first time around, so this is a rematch. And I think this is a rematch that they both are excited for, and they both are looking to make a difference. Now, on this card that Dana White is trying to get together, he wants this to be like a super card. So what they're looking at on the female side is they're going to put Chris Cyborg up against Amanda Nunes for the women's side, and that is going to be one of the super fights leading up to this big John Jones fight. So, I mean, they're looking at putting together a really great card here at the end of December. And you said, who do we look forward to in UFC? Honestly, the women's side is starting to get more exciting to watch and bigger names, and
yeah,
they put a better product on the octagon. When you're watching, they go all out, and some of the men have gotten too fancy dancing around and then hugging each other on the mat for 7 minutes straight. Like, dude, come on. Like, let's see a fight. And on the women's side, I mean, I feel like, I don't know if they're more aggressive or just more talented, or more technical, or is it they're more finesse? I don't know what it is, but there's something that they have that has drawn me more to the women's fighting than some of the men's fights, though I would love to see Conor, I'd love to see John Jones, and those big names draw me to those big matches, and UFC's doing it right, man. Bring back the stars. Bring them in. No, I don't want to see Lesnar again, like you mentioned. No, I mean, I like watching him, but he can't be the only draw. You need some of these other big names, and as it's playing out, as long as everybody stays clean, 2019 could be an epic year for UFC.
Oh, I agree. If we can get some Conor fights, if we can get some Jones fights, some Rose fights, more Cyborg fights, you're right. It could go back to 2008, 2009 when I first got into UFC, where every single card you were like, man, I got to see GSP. Now I got to see Rampage. Now I got to see Shogun Hua. It was just one card after another where it was names you knew, names you loved, guys you liked watching fight. And I don't know if they just didn't bring up a lot of guys in behind GSP and Shogun and everything else. Like Jones kind of just took over the 205 weight class. Nobody's really taken over GSP's spot in that weight class. Heavyweights are always like you hold on to the belt for a day and then you lose it. Conor's been really the only mainstay the last 5 or 6 years, and then he kind of took a 2-year hiatus. So I hope UFC 2019 is bigger, better, and badder than it's ever been.
I agree. And on that note, I think we're going to go to a quick commercial break. On the flip side, we will be going back in time.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. "12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst."
Oh, guess who it is? Did you know the station had a janitor? Oh yeah, the Jefe, otherwise known as Beck. And it's Beck's Work Week in Review live on 12-Ounce Sports Radio every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch interviews, special guests, and the recap of the week's news and headlines and box scores and results. It's Beck's Work Week in Review live on 12-Ounce Sports Radio.
Scout Team listeners and friends of the show, I've got something special for you. It looks like 12-Ounce Sports Radio has done it again. We have partnered with Rally House. You just go to the website 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner on the right side of the page, and it will take you directly to Rally House. Rally House has some of the greatest, most unique sports items for that diehard fan, casual fan, and anybody and everybody out there that is special in your life. So go ahead and check it out. Once again, go to that website, 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner to the right of the page, and you will get taken to the best sports merchandise website on all of the interweb. Do you own a small business? Listeners and friends of the show, are you looking for solutions to all of your communications problems and challenges that you have? Check out Ring Central. Give them a call. They have partnered with 12ouncesportsradio.com to give you the best rates on all of your business and office solutions for communication. Give them a call today. We have a dedicated line for all of the 12-ounce sports radio listeners. It is 1-877-779-3860. You will get a representative on the phone who will help you with all of your small business communications needs. Once again, give them a call today, 1-877-779-3860. Yeah, it is Thursday morning, and you are listening to the Scout Team with Scout Team Sports. We are excited to be on the airwaves each and every morning at 6 a.m., and we replay every morning at 11 a.m. on 12ouncesportsradio.com. Also, if you want to catch any of our old episodes, you can always go back and listen to the podcasts on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts. Just search Scout Team Radio, or you can hit up our website, scoutteamradio.com. On the radio station today, there is a great lineup of shows. Thursday, we've got Clutch Talk Sports coming on at 8 a.m. At noon, we've got What's Up Sports. I hope he didn't move. I think he moved to Tuesdays. Man, I need to get an updated schedule. My bad, Chris America. Feel like I'm dropping the ball today on the show. Kentucky Sports Guys later this afternoon. Weekend Warrior, Cat. We've got Cats Talk, and then Primetime Angles. This guy does a great job doing some of the Las Vegas-style betting on sports, so got to listen to him. 10 p.m. live show. He brings a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm, so definitely a great thing going on there. And I do want to say that if you want to get social, hit us up, man, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, at Scout Team Radio. We are all of the above. We love it. And now, without further ado, I think it's time. Chris America, is it time?
It's time. It's made of time.
Wait a minute, Doc.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were still talking. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Time?
Keep going. No, it's I'm done. Go ahead.
Is it time? Is it time?
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Yes, we built a time machine, and Tiger Woods has me inspired. Tiger Woods has me going back to the year of my last time in my 20s. That year is 2013, when Tiger Woods, before this past weekend, won his last golfing tournament. I never thought, Loudbeard, we'd see a 5-year span without seeing Tiger Woods winning a tournament, but alas, we did. Even in 2013, people were kind of shocked and surprised that Tiger won. He was still battling back issues and everything. And 2013, not a bad year. Do you remember the Super Bowl that year in 2013, Loudbeard?
The Super Bowl was a great Super Bowl in 2013. That's when America was embracing the young babyface known as Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, America was in love with Colin Kaepernick before he took a knee, before he made half of America mad, before he had presidents calling him an SOB. He was leading the San Francisco 49ers back to the prominence that they once were. The 49ers in the 80s and 90s, I don't think kids these days understand how dominant the 49ers were and how good they were. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Ricky Waters, Steve Young, even Terrell Owens. believe it or not. Got his start with the San Francisco 49ers. That's where we first learned about who Terrell Owens was. But then they disappeared in the 2000s, man. Once T.O. and Steve Young left, the 49ers were garbage. And it took a young kid out of Nevada University or University of Nevada to lead them to the Super Bowl. And this is the Power Outage Super Bowl.
Fake news. That's fake news.
Which one?
You know who led them to the Super Bowl?
Oh, Jim Harbaugh?
Alex Smith. Kaepernick got the ball, handed him the ball.
Half right.
Yeah.
When did he take over? He took over like week 9 or 10, right?
Yeah, when they were like 8-2, and Alex Smith had like one like minor injury.
I mean, it was sort of like he was the Nick Foles to the San Francisco 49ers, is what it was. He still led them to the playoffs.
Carson Wentz is more like Alex Smith, and yeah, Kaepernick's a Nick Foles. I agree.
Yeah. But this is the Power Outage Super Bowl, too.
Yep,
Do you remember
the big
that?
blackout, 34 minutes. Conspiracy theories still running.
Baltimore was running away with his game. Then suddenly, mysteriously, the lights go out. And then so did the Baltimore Ravens. They were out of the game. San Francisco was doing whatever they wanted. They came back, but just wasn't enough. And the Baltimore Ravens, yes, the Baltimore Ravens won a Super Bowl. And that's what signed our favorite guy, Joe Flacco, to the big-time contract he's been underperforming under since.
That game made him elite. That's when Joe Flacco officially went into elite statuses after that Super Bowl.
Yep, that is true. And in the curling, Scotty's Tournament of Hearts, Ontario won that tournament. In case you're wondering who won the curling tournament in the Scotty's Tournament of Hearts.
No. I had
you
no
weren't wondering?
idea. No,
Okay,
I
let's
didn't
see.
care.
Where do we got here? Basketball. Where did that go? Yes, the 2013 men's basketball division tournament. Looks like UConn were your champions in that one. Oh, that was women's. Where's the men's basketball? I can't find it.
I don't
Who won
know,
the
man.
basketball tournament in 2013? That was Louisville. I think that was Louisville, and they had that one taken away. Why do they not have the men's? They just have women's here listed. That's really ridiculous. But
I'm glad you're prepared, sir. Really
I'm
glad.
always prepared.
Hey,
No, I had the
you-
list of 2013 events, and it has women's basketball, but they don't have the men's NCAA
because
tournament.
that was taken away from them.
Oh,
They
that's
don't
true.
even have it in the record books, man.
It's not. It's completely wiped from Wikipedia. The 2013 men's basketball tournament never even happened. But no surprise, UConn won their 30th of 400 basketball championships since the beginning of basketball. Let's see. What else do we have here? Do you remember who won the 2013 NBA championship, Loudbeard?
I do. And this was a momentous occasion because it looked like the Miami Heat were going to lose another one. Fans were actually leaving the stadium or the arena assuming that it was done, it was over, and the great Ray Allen hits that step-back three and brings the Heat back to life and actually resurrects LeBron James' legacy. Because if they would have lost that one to the Spurs, oh boy, you would have
Chris
really
America
been hating on
would've
LeBron
loved it.
James.
Oh man, if he was, that would have made him 2-8, I think, or 2-7 in finals. And yeah, forget it.
Yeah,
If
that was
only-
an amazing game.
If only the Spurs would have fouled. What's his name?
Yes, all they did, Haslam, I think, had the ball at the time.
No, it wasn't Haslam. It was the other guy, the dinosaur,
Oh,
the guy from the Raptors. Why can't I think of his name right now?
I don't know. Oh, Chris Bosh,
Chris Bosh
the
rebounded the
actual
ball.
Raptor.
Yeah, he rebounded the ball. They should have fouled him there because they were up by 3. He would have gone to the line, shot 2. Instead, they let him kick it out to Ray Allen, and Ray Allen hits the big three-pointer to send it into overtime, and the rest is history. Now, do you remember who the number 1 overall pick was in that draft? Cleveland Cavaliers had the pick.
Was that Kyrie, or was that the year before when it was Anthony Bennett? I can't remember.
It was Anthony Bennett, the Canadian himself. Anthony Bennett. What is he up to these days?
NBA legend. I think he works at Starbucks.
No, if he's from Canada, he probably works at a Tim Hortons.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You know what? I don't get the Tim Hortons thing. I go in there. I'm like, this is like a dirty 7-Eleven. There's nothing special here. Canadians
Canada,
are like,
you
this
can-
is the greatest ever. Tim Hortons a great hockey player. We love his coffee. I
Canada,
don't
you
get
can
it.
Loudbeard. At Loudbeard for that one. The U.S. Open Championship, or just the Open Championship, which I believe is the British Open, was won by Phil Mickelson, the lefty.
Ooh.
He was winning golf tournaments back then, too. Winning majors.
Yeah, he only wins the ones that Tiger let him have.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, he didn't have a chance in anything else.
A very, very forgettable PGA Championship was won by Jason Duffner. No idea what that guy's up to these days.
Yeah, he's still around. He's just, he's a pretty good pro.
He's a pretty good pro. That's one of the things about golf, man, is you have these guys that can just come out of nowhere and win and then just disappear. We made a tweet about one-hit wonders in sports the other day on National One-Hit Wonder Day, and you could just spend a whole lot of time just talking about Master winners and U.S. Open winners and British Open winners of these guys that just come up. They just have one hot weekend. They win a golf tournament. They get the green jacket, and then you never see them again.
That's a true story.
You say the same about the Daytona 500.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, these drivers, they come out of the woodwork. All of a sudden, somebody's good. They win. It's the first big race of the season. So, and nobody's really, caught up to their skills. So there's always a surprise there, or not always, but every once in a while you get a real big surprise there.
I'm trying to look for the baseball. Who won the World Series in 2013? I'm going to assume it was the San Francisco Giants.
They were winning every other year at that point. I can't remember.
It was the Boston Red Sox, the other team that was winning every other year. That was the last Boston World Series, won by a manager that was fired last year by the Boston Red Sox because they didn't make the World Series again.
Now, I've got a couple other sports things on this list, and there's one that really jumps out at me, and I'm surprised you haven't mentioned it yet. I mean, maybe you were saving it for the grand finale, and if so, I apologize, but you remember
was
that...
Was it the rhythm gymnastics that Russia won the 2013 World Rhythmic Gymnastics?
Dude, how'd you know?
Oh, man.
That was it.
Two brains think alike, man.
Now, the big one that stands out to me, the kick six in the Iron Bowl 2013.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that was... To see the look on Nick Saban's face, I can't believe that just happened. Chris Davis takes that kick back for, 109 yards or whatever it ends up being. And Alabama looks like they had lost their toy in the sandbox. They just had no idea what to do other than sit there and cry and pout. One of the most legendary Alabama getting beat moments in the lifetime that I've watched sports.
Yeah, and this was before we had a four-team invitational to where they couldn't put Alabama in no matter how bad or how little they lost to Auburn. So they weren't able to play in a national championship that year. That was unfortunately, I tried to erase that year from my memory because that's when that disgusting team from Tallahassee won it. So that's probably why I forgot about the kick six.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even mention that team.
Because they didn't win it until...
Not to be mentioned.
Right, because they didn't really win it until January of 2014, so we don't need to talk about it. We're in 2013 here.
That's right. And the kick six was, it was on New Year's. Yeah, whatever.
No, kick six was at the end of November.
Oh, you're right, because it was Iron Bowl. It wasn't an actual bowl. It's the week before, or the games before that. You're right. So the great 2013 game. And just one last sports thing I want to throw out there at you. This was the year that Lance Armstrong sat there with Oprah and admitted that he actually did PEDs after he had lied to everybody. That was a hashtag Oprah Solid moment brought to you by the O Network.
The OWN.
The OWN, whatever. Isn't it? OWN, Oprah. Love you.
Oprah.
Got you.
So 2013 in music kind of introduced us to some new people and kind of had some old names that just... always create hits. The number one song and the number one artist we got introduced to in 2013 was Macklemore and Ryan Lewis with Thrift Shop. That was the number one overall Billboard charted song.
Still a great jam. I love that
Still a great
song.
jam.
Yep.
I love the Thrift Shop. We were also introduced to Alan Thicke's son, Robin Thicke, as he talks about rape in a song and makes rape sound fun with blurred lines.
I didn't realize that was what that song was about.
Yeah.
It was a good song at the time.
It was, but it was a huge controversy. So people were like, is this really what we're singing about now? And then
he had that one moment where Miley Cyrus went up and grinded on him on stage, and his wife was sitting in the crowd like, what's going on right now?
Oh,
now
Miley Cyrus.
That was blurred lines.
Miley Cyrus basically took Madonna's career and and Britney Spears' career and just wrapped it all into one and just put it into hyperdrive of just full-on messery and tomfoolery.
And then ran it into a wrecking ball.
Just into a wrecking ball, which was also a hit in 2013. Wrecking Ball was. I think this is the last time we've really seen Miley Cyrus on the charts. The other group that we were introduced to, or at least I was introduced to in 2013, was Imagine Dragons' number 3, Radioactive. I'm actually a pretty big Imagine Dragons fan.
No, they put out great music. They're a fun group. They have a ton of hits too. You don't realize it when you look at their list of hits. All those songs are radio songs. There's probably like 10 or 12 songs that people will listen to and recognize that they don't even realize are Imagine Dragons. They're like a monster group putting out hit left and right. Now, you didn't mention one of my favorites from 2013, and this will be the last one I mention, but the Harlem Shake. Not like it was a great song or anything, but the whole revolution where everybody was doing the Harlem Shake, the Miami Heat were doing the Harlem Shake with the great LeBron James. It became a internet phenomena.
But even that wasn't close to what we experienced. A worldwide phenomenon. The first time I saw this song was actually Saturday Night Live making fun of it, and I was like, what is this all about? It swept YouTube by storm, and then it swept the nation by storm. That, of course, is South Korea's own.
Wow, the anticipation. Chris America, you there? Did I lose you, my friend? And that was brought to you by Chris America.
America.
Yeah, so I'm going to continue on. I don't hear Chris America anymore. I don't know if it's me or him, but we're going to go on. And whatever that South Korea song, I think he was going to talk about that one. I can't even remember the dude's name. Anyway, moving on. Movies. Frozen, great movie in 2013. Kids loved it. That song, Let It Go, stuck in your head forever and ever and ever. And let's see. He just texted me, are you there? So I don't know which one of us is on. Let's see. I lost you, bro. Lost you. So wherever the feed is coming out, I'm going to just do one of these guys real quick. Chris America, you there, sir? Nope. I lost him. All right, The Purge, another great movie in 2013. One of my favorite movies. They definitely brought back a different style of horror with this movie. They made it kind of a fun, different approach, and I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. And so we'll see what other movies. Let's see, Wolf of Wall Street, another classic Leonardo DiCaprio movie. This one, great flick. I really loved watching. Hey, Chris America, you there, man? I think I hear you. No, maybe not. All right.
You can't hear me?
No, I can hear you now.
You couldn't hear the laugh?
No, I couldn't hear the laugh.
You don't hear that?
It's so low, like I
That's
can't hear.
weird.
Like,
That's
yeah,
really
I don't know
weird.
what
Okay.
happened. The Golden Ghost must have jumped in and like haunted our equipment.
Well, you disappeared, and I saw that I was still on the radio, so I don't know if the fans at home were hearing me, so I was still talking. I talked about Psy, one of the greatest 15 minutes of fame of all time, Gangnam Style. It was fun times. Did you catch all that?
No, as soon as you said, oh, the great sensation from Korea, blah, it went out dead quiet. And it looked like I was still on my end, so we definitely, one of us was talking like a weirdo to ourselves. The other one was actually on air. So I don't know what happened there. We got 2 minutes left. You were talking about Psy, Gangnam Style. Now that did take America by storm. That makes the Harlem Shake look like a little stepchild because it was the massive hit that year. Movies. Now, as I was talking, I was just randomly babbling, but Frozen came out in 2013.
It's funny, I was talking about that too. I was like, I don't know if Loudbeard's there, but I'm going to keep talking. Obviously, you have the recording side of it, so we'll go over that again.
Well,
I
it
still
records
haven't
the
seen-
stream.
Oh, it does. Okay,
So
maybe
whatever
it got
gets
me.
played on the radio is what gets recorded. So when we go back and listen later, we'll
It'll
be able to
us
find
two
out
talking, It will be us two talking over each other, probably.
who knows, man.
Okay, so Frozen. Still haven't seen that movie, luckily. I have
Sorry.
a kid. I'm part of a split family, so he saw that with his mom, and I'm glad he
Let it
did
go.
because I never had to see it. You have daughters, though, so I'm sure you've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, we went up to Myrtle Beach for a family vacation, and the kids got that soundtrack, and they're like, can we just listen to this the entire way up? And I was like, yeah. I was outnumbered. And so we go up there, and by the time I got up there, I was like, please, God, I just need to be in a dark room alone for 10 hours to get myself away from this Let It Go song, because we played it over and over and over. It is a hell that I can't explain, my friend.
So glad I've never been in that hell. Just real fast, since we don't have that much time left. Out of the top 10 highest grossing films in 2013, I never saw Fast and Furious 6 because I haven't seen a single Fast and Furious movie, so I'm not going to judge that. But I felt like it was a very disappointing year, and Thor Dark World, to me, was the only good movie in the top 10. The other top 10s are Iron Man 3, very disappointing. Despicable Me 2, that was okay. It was good. Wasn't great. Hobbit was awful. Hunger Games, never saw Hunger Games. Monster University, it's another kid's movie. Gravity, never seen it. Man of Steel, it's a DC movie.
It was decent. It was an okay take on Superman. It was decent.
Yeah. So
now, you didn't mention Wolf of Wall Street or The Purge. Those were two of my favorite movies from 2013.
Okay,
Not a great year, but
I was just looking at the top 10 grossing films. But yeah, Wolf of Wall Street was great, and haven't seen any of the Purge movies. I need to get on that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do.
I have a lot of movies I need to watch.
Well, sir, we had technical difficulties. We went back in time. We got to talk about John Jones. We talked about some Thursday Night Football. It has been a great show and a complete show. So any parting remarks for you, sir?
Psy for life.
Man, I wish I could do some. Which one?
The SNL skit on Psy.
Oh, I feel like I did, but I can't really recall, man. Maybe, yeah. Sounds like a plan.
You're like, not really.
Okay, sure.
Man, Ricky, this music is pumping. Yeah? Well, I don't like it. What you mean, man? I wish we could hear the game instead. Oh, I got you. Hold on. Here, listen to 12-ounce sports radio, live lacrosse, and hockey. What about the girls? I'm sure they can twerk to this stuff. Here, look. Jeff Beck's Work Week in Review. Ladies dig this guy. Man, Ricky, this music is pumping. Yeah? Well, I don't like it. What you mean, man?